Hey, what's going on? Luke here, and we're here to do my round 8 tips and predictions for the 2022 NRL season. Now, the tipping has been quite hard. Tigers have been making it very, very difficult for me. Been coming here every week and saying, Tigers are about to get smashed, guys. Then they come out and win by 1 point. So, I think this week, maybe I'm going to have to tip the Tigers. But we're going to be going through all of the games. I'm not going to be going in-depth. If you want an in-depth one, go on to Channel 9, go watch a Fox Sports show, something like that. I'm just going to be giving my quick thoughts on the games and giving my tips and predictions. Now, we're just about to go through all the games, but before we do so, I need to mention that there is a sponsor for this video.
The sponsor for this video is BetU, and more specifically, EarnU. EarnU is a part of BetU, and it allows you to place bets on NRL, AFL, cricket, and all major sports risk-free. You can even place bets on esports such as FIFA and League of Legends. You can even watch the esports events, so it makes it a little bit easier to make those bets. This is all done through BetU tokens, and you can win money through the tokens, as all profits and bets are done through the tokens. Yes, I just said tokens a lot. To get the tokens, you need to deposit into your account, and that will give you points to play with, and then you can use those points to make the bets. 1,000 BetU tokens equals 10 points to make bets with, so you kind of get the gist there. You can make bets individually, or you can join in on the rounds that they do. They do rounds each week, and within those rounds, they also have leaderboards, so you can make money a fair few ways on this platform. Now, I have a referral code in the description below. You can go ahead and click on that, or you can just go ahead and chuck in Mr. Luke where it allows you. Basically, this just shows that you saw my video and you've come across from my video, so it really does help me if you do use my referral code. Once again, thank you to BetU, and more importantly, EarnU, for coming on board the channel. Guys, please gamble responsibly. You also have to be 18 plus as well. I mean, it is gambling after all, so you have to be 18 plus. But Australians, we love a little bit of a gamble, especially NRL fans. We love to have a little bit of a punt, especially me. So go ahead, use this platform, use BetU, use EarnU, and help support the people that support me.
Alrighty, the first game of the round sees the Brisbane Broncos take on the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. Obviously, both teams got a win last week. I witnessed firsthand the Broncos pick up a victory, albeit in the last 15 minutes or so. Bulldogs were all over them. Then Adam Reynolds just turned on. Kicking game was 10 out of 10, and then the Broncos went 10 out of 10. So Broncos ended up winning by quite a margin. However, I don't think the game really reflected that. The Sharks was a close game in the end, but I don't think the game really reflected how that game went. Sharks absolutely pummeled Manly in the first half, in particular Talakai. I think for this one, it is quite simple for me. I think the Sharks are going to win this one. The only thing I can sort of look at is, especially being there firsthand last week, was that the Broncos home crowd really can get them amped up. They really get behind those boys, and there's a reason that they always play better at home. The Sharks, I think, have enough class about them. They can come out and get the job done. I don't know if they're going to absolutely demolish them like they did Manly last week, but I think the Sharks are going to get this one done. I'm going to go 13 plus. I feel like the Sharks might run away with it in the end, but I think it will be close for a little bit. But yeah, Sharkies win this one. Next up, we have the Gold Coast Titans taking on the Penrith Panthers. Debating whether to go to this one. I'm in the Gold Coast. I'll be in the Gold Coast at that time. But we have the Titans, who have been very, very underwhelming, but they've made quite a few changes. They've got AJ Brimson going back into the fullback role, which for me, I feel like they should have never moved him. They really shouldn't have. He was playing State of Origin at fullback. Then they tried to chuck him into the halves purely just to sort of work in Jaden Campbell. Obviously, Campbell's injured and that. But for me, having Brimson at the back, even if Campbell's fit, like, he's still so much better than Jaden Campbell. Jaden Campbell is so raw. Yes, the talent is there, but you don't go moving a guy like AJ Brimson. He's just way too good. For Penrith, they're the same as always. They are so good. Penrith going to win this one 13 plus, I'd say, but hey, you never know. I feel like after the last couple of weeks with the Tigers and even the Dragons, I can't rule out any team, but if I was going to rule out anyone, it'd probably be the Titans. I just can't see them beating Penrith. On to the second game of Friday night. It sees the South Sydney Rabbitohs taking on the Manly Warringah Seagulls. Last year, this was a grand final qualifier. This year, it feels completely different. Rabbitohs just lost to the Tigers. Manly got absolutely destroyed in the first half by the Sharks. They even had to hook a centre. Morgan Harper, probably the last we've seen of him in first grade. He's been dropped this week, and I think you had to do it. His defence was just absolutely terrible. Ever since the final series last year, I think his confidence is just shot, and Talakai ran amok over him. He's not the first player either. He did it to Dan Gagai as well. So I don't know if it reflects on Morgan Harper, but they needed to make a change. Harper's gone. The fellow they've brought in is supposed to be a young gun, so maybe that's the last we saw of Morgan Harper apart from injuries. But in terms of picking a winner for this game, I think it is quite difficult. For me, I'm actually going to go Manly. I feel like Manly have shown more than the Rabbitohs this year. Rabbitohs at times have looked fairly decent. Wherever Cameron Murray's on the field and Damien Cook's there and that sort of stuff, they are going to be a threat. Cody Walker, super underwhelming this year, but in terms of Manly, Cherry Evans has been quite good for them. He's been really leading them. Foran's been pretty good. Pretty much the same what I said last week, despite the result for Manly, but I think I'm going to go Manly 1-12. Like I said, it's going to be a tight one. I feel like either team could win this one. That's sort of how close it is, but like I said, Manly just shown enough last week compared to the Rabbitohs. I think they can get the job done. Rabbitohs lost to the Tigers, so come on. Now moving on to Super Saturday, and I got to say, looking at some of the games, doesn't look that super. The first one being the Warriors and the Raiders. This one is really hard because I can see Warriors hitting back after, I don't even know what to say, absolute cricket score against them, 70-10. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was like every time I looked at the score again, there was another try. Just not the ones I needed for my multi, but the Raiders as well, been absolutely terrible themselves. So you got two teams that have been pretty bad for a little while now. The Warriors, actually, I will say, the Warriors haven't been bad for a little while. That was really bad last week, and they came up against a red-hot Melbourne side. So Melbourne have done it in the past. They did it to my Bulldogs. Probably going to do it to a couple more teams this season. Once they get going, they get going. Whereas the Raiders have just been very, very disappointing throughout the whole season. So for that reason, I guess I'm going to have to take the Warriors, despite them losing by 60 points last week. It seems crazy to tip them, but I'm going to be tipping the Warriors. I think it'll be a tight one, though. I think Jack White will be able to spur them on a little bit. I think it will be tight. I think it's going to be 1-12, but I am going the Warriors. Now on to the second game. It sees the last place category breaks down Bulldogs. My Bulldogs. Another loss for the Bulldogs. Very disappointing. I saw it in person. Very, very sad, but they did show some promise. The team who didn't show any promise was the Sydney Roosters. They lost to the St. George Illawarra Dragons. Very, very disappointing performance, but this is the sort of team that plays a team into form. The Bulldogs up against the Roosters. I can see the Roosters coming out and putting 70 points on us. It just feels like one of those games. They're going to be raring to go. They're going to be annoyed that they just lost to the Dragons. Everybody's putting question marks over them. People are talking about whether Kiri's done, whether Tedesco's done. They're not going to be the same after the injuries. And this is the sort of game they come out and they absolutely annihilate my Bulldogs. I hope that's not the case. Bulldogs actually looked quite decent last week for good parts of the game. Just couldn't get the job done in the end. Fell away very, very quickly. But there was all the COVID situation. It is disappointing that the young fellow who played in the centres, who I thought was really, really, really good, definitely a shining light, is ineligible to play because he only was allowed to play because of COVID. So very disappointing in that aspect, but yeah, Roosters, you got to go them 13 plus, right? There's no way Bulldogs win this. Now moving on to the last game of Super Saturday, sees the Parramatta Eels taking on the North Queensland Cowboys. Eels back to their usual self last week. Cowboys also playing pretty decent as well. So going into this game, it is going to be quite hard. Well, at least harder than what I thought it was going to be. Selecting a winner. I am going to be tipping Parramatta because they've been in such good form this year. Apart from against the Tigers, that was the real one slip up, I guess. But the Cowboys have been very, very strong this year. They have been very consistent. I just feel like if the Eels get going, though, there's no stopping them. But I really do like Valentine Holmes to the Cowboys. I like the Hammer being back. I think Tamalolo's playing really well. I just really like this Cowboys side. I think they're a very underrated side at the moment. I know they're in the 8, but a lot of people are talking about them as being like the one side out of the 8 that's going to drop off. But I feel like so far they haven't really shown any signs that they're going to drop off. They've just been so solid. They haven't won every week, but they've looked fairly decent in all of those games. So look, I think the Eels, as long as they get going, if they play like a 7 out of 10, they win this one. I think they win this one well. But the Cowboys are going to be no easy beats, and I think the Eels are going to win this one 1-12. I don't see it being a runaway game like the previous ones have been. So yeah, I'm going to go 1-12 Eels. Now moving on to Sunday afternoon football. This one could get real ugly. Actually, both of them could get real ugly. It sees the Newcastle Knights taking on the Melbourne Storm. Melbourne just put 70 points on the Warriors, who I think have been playing much better than the Knights. Knights got absolutely destroyed last week by the Eels at home. I think this week is going to be no different. I see the Storm putting on an absolute masterclass. There's just no way they don't win this one. Melbourne 13 plus. I'm not even going to go into this game too much. Look, Ponga needs to do a lot for them. Needs to do a lot more, especially with the contract that he's about to sign, or has signed, I should say. But the rest of the team, like Gagai's out. But the rest of the side, they've got a lot of big names who just aren't stepping up. And it's not just Ponga, but Ponga is the biggest name, obviously. But yeah, the Storm, all their big names definitely stepping up. Storm 13 plus, easy money. Now onto the last game of the round, which could be match of the round, which does sound quite strange considering the two sides who are playing. But it's the St. George Illawarra Dragons taking on the West Tigers. A couple weeks ago, I would have said probably Dragons win this one easy. However, the Tigers, they have shown a lot against some pretty decent sides. They beat the Eels, they beat the Rabbitohs, albeit being 1-point wins. But Jackson Hastings has added so much into that side. As long as he stays fit, I can see them pushing for the top 8. I don't think they've got to get top 8, but I can see them pushing for the top 8. They've already beat a side who I had as winning them on a premiership. Storm are going gangbusters right now, but in the lead up, I thought the Eels were going to be a contender to win the premiership. Don't know if that's going to be the case, but this Tigers side, they are looking a lot better, playing with a bit of purpose. Dragons, though, same can be said about them. They looked a lot better last week. A few little lucky tries, but they defended so well against a team who can strike at will. And we've seen that happen with the Roosters side. That hasn't gelled this year, but we've been able to see some individual brilliance by guys like Joey Manu and Tedesco and Sam Walker, Luke Keary, not Daniel Tupou last week, but we've been able to see the Roosters be able to score despite them not gelling, and the Dragons held them out pretty comfortably. And the Dragons, I thought they were pretty decent, picked up the victory, but for me, surprisingly, I'm actually going to be taking the Tigers. This could be a death wish for the Tigers. I don't know. I haven't tipped them in a long time, but I'm actually going to be tipping them. I'm going to tip 1-12. I think regardless of who wins, I think this is going to be a tight game. I think at times both teams are probably going to look like winning. It's probably going to be times where the Dragons have to lead and then Tigers have to lead. I think it's just going to be quite a close contest. But like I said, I think Tigers are going to pick up the victory here. I feel like they've shown enough that they can get it done in clutch moments as long as they're in amongst the game. Although I will say the Dragons' defense has been really good. So I don't know, Benny Hunt up against Jackson Hastings, great little matchup there. So Tigers 1-12. Anyways, those are my tips for this round. Let me know in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on the tips? Are they terrible? Do you have better ones? Let me know your tips in the comment section below. Anyways, I'm going to wrap up this video here. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure you go ahead and smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Also make sure you use the notification bell. Don't rely on the sub boxes. Use the notification bell and never miss any of my videos. Also, while you're at it, go ahead and chuck me a follow on social media. It's on the screen right now. It's Mr. Luke and YT for the most part. My Facebook's Mr. Luke, but everything else, including Snapchat, including TikTok, is Mr. Luke and YT. Give me a follow, give me an ad. Also, become a member of the channel. You can see it on the screen right now. There is 2 levels, 2 tiers, whatever you'd like to put it. Depending on the levels and tiers, you get exclusive perks, custom emojis, you get exclusive streams, things like that. Go ahead and become a member of the channel. I'm even considering adding in a little $5 tier. So let me know if that's something that you would think is worthwhile. I'll happily do it if you'd like to do that. So go ahead and have a think about that one. Also, shout out to the sponsor for the video. You saw it at the start of the video, but thank you once again for coming on board the channel. Earn You, link in the description below. Click on it. We'll go straight into the little sign up part. Just go ahead, sign up. Use my referral code, basically just let you know that you came from my video. So go ahead, use my referral code. And once again, thanks for coming on board, Earn You. Anyways, I'm going to end the video here. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thank you for supporting me. And I'll see you in the next video. See yous.